So this is the all-new iPhone 16 in the Ultramarine color, and in this episode we're going to go ahead and take a look at it and see everything you need to know about the all-new iPhone 16 and my first impressions video. So what is up guys, Nick here helping you to master your technology, and welcome to the iPhone 16 unboxing in the Ultramarine, which is the new purple color. It's the one being advertised quite a bit. I initially went with the teal, but I backtracked because I thought this color was more unique. I'm probably going to get the 16 Plus in teal, so stay tuned for that. iPhone 16, UPC codes, and these easy to pull tabs right here to get into the product. Now keep in mind that in the US, this is going to be eSIM only, so you don't have the ability to put a SIM card in here. In the US, if you're coming from an older iPhone, do keep that in mind. But as we unbox this right here, you're going to see there is the all new Ultramarine color. And man, is it zingy. It definitely pops right there, especially around the camera lenses. Take a closer look at that. Underneath the camera lenses, that is something different for sure. Very, very popping color right there. Even more than on the box right here. Also notice about these boxes, they have like these pictures on here, but you can kind of feel them. If you run your finger over here, you can kind of, it almost feels like the phone is on the box, like glued on the box, but not quite. So let's go ahead and open this up. Oh, almost dropped it. First day, what are you doing, bro? And by the way, that sticker on the front, it didn't make a lot of a sensation of a sound right there. Let's go ahead and boot this thing up here. And what I really like about the all new iPhone 16 is that it does have a capture button as well. It also does have an A18 chip, so we're not going with no older chip here this time around. And it brings the action button. Volume markers right there. And we're going to head into the main setup. But first impressions, very premium feeling here, just like the 15. Glass infused back right there, so it's not going to pick up too many fingerprints. Apple logo large, USB-C, and you can see pretty much no antenna lines or anything. Well, there's a couple right there, but a pretty clean setup. I think this is going to be a great upgrade for those of you with older base iPhones like 11, 13, maybe even 14 if you were bored of that phone right there. So while that iPhone 16 is activating, you'll notice you have a USB-C to USB-C cable. There is no charger in this iPhone 16. If you're coming from an older iPhone you haven't seen lately, Apple doesn't include chargers no more. Also, the box there's basically nothing in here. It's pretty darn simple. I'll set up Face ID later and we'll do a passcode later. Nope, we'll have to go here. You'll see there's basically nothing inside of there. I'm not transferring nothing today. We're just going to skip all this for now because we don't need to do all that setup for this video. Right here, we'll hit continue. Not now. Quite a bit of setup here, but if you just kind of like beam it to your other iPhone, it's much faster than setting it up manually, so do keep that in mind. And one of the new things they're going to show here with the newer iPhone is that you no longer have a silent switch, so you actually have to go to Control Center to access the silent mode. That's something to keep in mind with this newer iPhone. It's something you're going to have to get used to, unless you want to use your action button, which is an all new feature here. To use it for the silent switch, you can still do that there. But if you go through here, I like to use flashlight because it's a very useful tool. Camera control here is all new as well. It's going to allow you to zoom in, use this as a button. And let's go ahead and give a here to that. Let me bring the mic a little closer. Hold on. We're out of frame. So you heard that click. It was pretty nice click right there. So it's definitely satisfying.
The colors of the screen.
And keep in mind, this phone does support the Apple Intelligence. However, that's not going to be available until early October, maybe even mid-October. We'll have to see how that goes. So they were kind of still in the beta process with the Apple Intelligence, but iPhone season snuck up. So we're getting these early without all the latest Apple Intelligence features, but they do support it and they will be coming not too far from now. So don't be worried about that. This is not unlike Apple. They've done stuff like this before. Like they've launched iPhones first and then brought the XR later, for example. They've done stuff like this before. So it's nothing to be too concerned about. Now, once in the phone, you're going to notice the general look of the front is it's iPhone 15 all over again. I definitely what I like about this phone is the lightness. The base model iPhones feel like a featherweight. Literally, I feel like I could hold this phone on one pinky. Yeah, I definitely can. So definitely, it's not going to hold too well, but that is a super light phone right there in the iPhone 16. Still feels solid though. Around the edges, still very strong. So still a nice premium, strong build. It is aluminum on the edges, but still it's super light for that reason. So this is a really a good day-to-day daily driver for just the average user of iPhone. Also, what changes up quite a bit is the camera. We're now back to a vertical setup. Last time we seen that was the iPhone 12. So is it iPhone 12 all over again? No. Those cameras make the iPhone 12 cameras look miniature, like they're mini-me over there. So definitely a tiny camera lens on the 12 compared to these new ones, which are also surprisingly almost pro level. They don't have all the optical zoom, but you can do YouTube at top level quality with these cameras right here. I mean, it's not going to match a real camera, but it's definitely not something most people are going to notice the difference between this and a main camera anyway. So this is definitely a huge thumbs up on these cameras right here, giving you a 48 megapixel main sensor and a 12 megapixel ultra wide. Straight out of the box on the iPhone 16, it does have the iOS 18 wallpaper on there. You might be like, where's the purple wallpaper? Well, you got to go into wallpaper, and let's go over here and we'll go down to the area that says collections. Here is your iPhone 16 wallpaper right here. Now they're going to have a different one to color match every iPhone that came out. So you'll have the teal iPhone, you'll get that one, the pink iPhone, which personally I think this new pink is more of a magenta-like pink. It's not a true pink. I think the pink on the iPhone 15 was better. That's my personal take. Let me know your thoughts. But white, and you have the black as well. So we're going to go with the Ultramarine because that's the color option that we're using today. And of course, there's also a set of new iOS 18 wallpapers if you want to mess around with those. Those will be in there. We talked about those earlier this year in the iOS 18 reviews I was doing. So take a look at this now. See, that wallpaper matches that way nicer for sure on here. Now, one of the things people have really discussed about this is being a 60 hertz panel and how that is just ridiculous for this time, at this time in this market. And I tend to agree. I don't understand why this phone doesn't have a 120 hertz. It's not even a big deal. It would just benefit from it, but at least you're getting the math notes here, you're getting the history calculator, you're getting the new customization features that come with iOS 18. So you can see right there, it's all going to be fun to use and stuff like that. But still, why 60 hertz, Apple? This phone right here, guess how much this one cost me? Yes, I didn't get it with a carrier. And keep in mind too, that price that you see when you see it like $7.99, whatever, that's not the actual price if you're buying it on lock. It's like $8.29 plus taxes. I paid over $900 with taxes for this. And this is the base model. This is the lowest tier. So this phone easily, with some storage upgrades, going to the higher storage capacities, you can go over 1,000 very easily on this phone. But if you do a trade-in, which they're pretty nice trade-in values this year, some of them are even beating the Samsung trade-in values, you're looking at a pretty decent deal on this phone. So I would say if you're getting this, take advantage of a carrier deal or trade-in. That would really make this much more worth it. Because this one at the full retail, if I wasn't doing reviews on this, I probably wouldn't pay the full retail, but I picked it up for you guys because I always want to help you guys out to master your technology, to find the best and learn about the best out there and if it's going to be for you or not. Let's cruise around the body a little bit of this phone. I want to give you some close-ups for those of you who can't get in the store right away. We have our flash right there, our dual camera setup right there. On the edge, you'll see the antenna line. There is the power button right there. And then we do have ourselves the capture button. And then at the bottom, you're going to see another antenna line. We do have our speaker USB-C. Keep in mind, over time, if you're rough with this area does tend to chip up on most iPhones. You'll see right here, volume rockers and the action button that was previously on the Pros. So the 16 is almost like a previous Pro without the 120 hertz. So it still can't get that title. It doesn't have titanium either, but it's a really nice base model option. Regardless of that 60 hertz, that's the only con really of this phone, I think, for the average user. If this had the 120 hertz promotion, this would be a steal right here. And I don't understand why I don't put it, because I don't think that would separate people from wanting the Max. The Max is still a better phone regardless if this had 120 hertz. It'd still be a very popular option. All right, so let's get a look at this new capture button. So you see I clicked that button, it was good to go. You can hold down the capacitive to go ahead and bring this up. And then you can just click like that to go ahead and do that. Now, if you hold this down, you'll also record video like that, just like if you would hold it like that. If you go to the video section, you'll be able to record like that. Hold your finger just down a little bit and you could zoom in on the video right there. So a very, very nice camera setup. I might make a tutorial exactly how to use the capture button because it's such a new feature. I think people might benefit from it. So I might make a tutorial on this. Of course, you're getting all your camera modes you're used to. You also get macro mode now here for this phone and macro video. So that's pretty cool. So this is what I'm saying. The base model iPhone 16 over here is separating itself from some of the older ones having 10x, 2x, and I know they're cropping in, but still, this is a nice overall package. I almost feel like I don't even need more than what the 16 and 16 Plus offers in the camera department, unless you really want zoom. That is really the big difference. It's the zoom. If you haven't already and you're getting a 16 for the first time, go over here to Action button and check out the features you can do here. So you'll see things like silent mode, focus modes, voice memos, magnifying glass, shortcuts, and you could set up your own custom actions, translate. So that's pretty cool there. Now, again, I'll just showcase this. You're going to have to get used to this habit. If you're going to have this like a flash or something else on here, like the camera, for example, I don't know why you would use camera. I think I put that on camera accidentally. If you have like the flashlight here and you want to silent the phone, you're going to have to get used to this action right here. You're just gonna have to get used to doing this. Swipe to the control and go bang like that. That's just gonna be a little bit of a change here when using this model because you don't got the silent switch like the 15. So do keep that in mind. Also, you'll see on these newer iPhones, they have this nice new torch feature. On the 16, this is something you might not know about. And so the battery on here is up 200 milliamp. It is about 3561. Do keep in mind though, this is not the 16 Pro, so this doesn't get the 6.3 inch display. It is a little smaller, so it should drain a little bit less. I don't know how this phone has 2 cycle counts. I just opened it up, but whatever. At the same time, this phone right here definitely is going to have a pretty good sizable battery experience because they went up in size. They have a better chip and more RAM. So I think all iPhone 16s are going to have solid battery life. Not if you're using the flash all day and forgetting to turn it off, but definitely I think all of them are going to have a really good experience with the battery life. It does seem like one of those good battery life years for iPhones. All right, so I want to compare this to a few other iPhones before we get out of here. Of course, we're going to do a lot of speed test comparisons with the base iPhone here, even including against some competitors. But you'll see, how about against the 15? Probably one of the most closest looks, but what really annoys me about the 15 is this phone just came out last year and it already doesn't get Apple Intelligence. But look at that camera. They really made this look different, even if it's kind of the same phone when it comes to the build. You don't have the capture button. You have this big line of antenna right here. So definitely that's a nice new change. And then you have dynamic island on both. I think it looks like, I could be wrong, it looks maybe slightly thinner bezels, but I could be wrong. It looks kind of similar, honestly. But silent switch, action button. So you get new buttons, you get a different camera design, and you get the better chip, more RAM. So this is a better option for sure than the iPhone 15. Sorry, iPhone 15 users. I don't think that was the best upgrade ever. It was a nice change from some of the older iPhones, but it wasn't really the best either because they didn't give you 8 gigs of RAM. Over here, iPhone 13, you'll see definitely a big upgrade from this, big departure, big change. And I do think if you're looking forward to doing an upgrade from the 13, you have a lot to look forward to here. If you want the 120 hertz though, you're gonna have to wait one more year. But comparatively, this definitely looks like a lot of refinement over that phone. So definitely a nice change from the 13 and much lighter feeling, honestly. It really does feel a little bit lighter. And how about some older iPhones? Like we covered the iPhone 12. This is similar to the 13. Same size display, but you get the capture button. You get a much brighter display than that phone, much better battery life, much faster, more RAM. This is a big upgrade. And I actually seen somebody upgrading from a 12 to this today right in front of me. So definitely this is a solid upgrade. And one of the biggest is going to be the iPhone 11. This phone just looks downright clunky compared to this looks like a clunky old car versus a new car if we were to compare two cars. Not that the iPhone 11 is bad. It was great for the time, but dude, like look at this difference. It is huge. Different shape, lighter weight, same size screen, but lighter weight, dynamic island features. All in all, this is a huge change if you come from this. Honestly, the iPhone 16 is closer to an iPhone 15 Pro. It's basically an iPhone 15 Pro without a 120 hertz display because you have an action button and the added capture button. and a faster A18 CPU. Well, maybe not faster. We'll have to check that out because A18 and A17 Pro, the Pro chip is usually a little quicker. So we'll have to see if that's true. I don't want to say that and then it's absolutely not true. But definitely this is kind of like a Pro of last year without the Pro display. That's the main thing. Lastly, a competitor in the Android space, the S24. Now this is much more competitive looking than some of those iPhones, even has an extra camera, and coming in around the same price. So Samsung's been out a while with this phone, almost a whole year already. And Apple's kind of catching up here with this one. So definitely, I would say this is a pretty nice phone if you can live with 60 hertz. If that doesn't bother you, I think you're in for a real treat here, getting nearly a pro level iPhone with a couple of sacrifices. Is this one an upsell to the Pro Max? Kind of, if you think of it that way, but I think a lot of general iPhone users are going to absolutely love this, and that they can get a bigger iPhone with smooth Pro-like features with the Plus model without paying the Pro prices. So I like the options we have here. They're really good. And let me know what you want to see on the iPhone 16 going forward. I will be covering some speed tests, some comparisons, some reviews on this phone to help you out even further, but I want to know what you want to know about this one down below. Thumbs up if you enjoyed the unboxing, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will catch you all in the next episode. Thank you very much for watching. Nick here. Be sure to be well, and peace.